is there a discussion in Austin about addressing this legally, by law,
Well, so
defining this?
that's the problem as we kind of see it, is that it has been defined in Austin, but I think they got it wrong. Um, not that anyone ever gets it wrong.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's part of the issue of what didn't get addressed in Cactus that we were really paying attention to, that we were interested in is, you know, produced water. And I think this is kind of the story I always tell with produced water. Before I went to law school and became an oil and gas attorney, I actually had a services side business in the oil and gas business. And I was kind of just faking it till I made it and trying to figure out what was going on and where things were going. And it was on uh, we were in like the alternative power section. So, um, when you needed to bring SCADA systems online, chemical injection pumps, we made the batteries and the solar panels and all of that to go out on those well sites. But I didn't know a ton about the industry in terms of the oil and gas industry. And this is, 10 years, 15 years ago. And so you're learning the lingo and you're learning how things work. And I remember being out with a tool pusher in Alice, Texas, and we're trying to sell some product and move some product around on this well site. And he keeps going, he keeps talking about the monkey cage. And so there's monkey cages over here and we're installing monkey cages over there. And we're doing this with the monkey cage. We're doing that with the monkey cage. And I'm nodding my head, just trying to get a sale. And I remember getting in the truck with my business partner afterward. We're going down the road. And I said, man, I'm sorry. I know where the pigtail is. I know where the mouse hole is. I know where the rat hole is. I know what the Christmas tree looks like. I know what happens when we nipple up a well. I know what happens when we nipple down the well. Where the hell is the monkey cage out here? And he pulls over and starts laughing. And he just goes, he's like, man, we're in Alice and there's a monkey farm here. And his brother-in-law built the cages for the monkeys. Uh, and And he just said, thank God you didn't open your mouth out there. And, and I always like to tell that story where we're talking about produced water, because that's the problem is what is it? Because sometimes we call it produced water and sometimes we call it flowback water and sometimes we call it brine water and sometimes we call it salt water and sometimes we call it groundwater and sometimes we call it a million different things. And the problem is the legislature keeps moving those terms around and throwing terms of art into some of the legislation that doesn't actually track. So if you look at like the House bills that came through in 2013 and then I guess in 2018, they've defined produced water as fluid and oil and gas waste, but the Texas Water Code defines groundwater as water percolating below surfaces of the earth. That sounds like brine water to me. That sounds like these things that are already there. And so what is it? And so I think we've really created this big headache. And it's going to be interesting to see how we sort over the next couple of years.
Yeah. I mean, so specific to the Permian Basin, I mean, and then that El Paso district, what, what potential effect does that have? I mean, we know there's a lot of value in repurposing this water, repurposing frac water, extracting, using water from extracting salt from the produced water to use for fracturing and things like that. I mean, has it caused some major rumbles out there with some of these companies that are trying to really monetize that? Or
I have not seen that yet. I think it's coming, and especially as lithium becomes a bigger issue. And obviously with the monetization there, because within this definition of fluid oil and gas waste, they're defining brine water. And there are these competing definitions there where, and to be clear, I think the legislative intent behind this was really, really good. For years, produced water has been been a liability, and it's kind of competitive liability. Who wants it? And so the operator has always taken this and has always disposed of it. The problem is, as technology has advanced and we're able to treat this better, water and potable water becomes a increasingly diminished resource. there is a need for more and more produced water to either be injected downhole for frac, or where we can actually treat it to the point where you potentially drink it.
Yeah. That's hard to even imagine, but it's technology is going to advance. It's going to get better. We're going to become more sophisticated with our use of this product. So I know we all want to try to get ahead of it.